Hey everybody, I'm Walls Pete and welcome to Matter of Opinion. So if you haven't heard yet, Trump supporters or MAGA supporters, they stormed Capitol Hill. One person was injured. Mike Pence had to be moved to a secret location and barricades was broken. A lot of chaos that was going on.
This is incredible. Throughout the day, we were talking to some protesters from Long Island, New York, who said they anticipated occupying the Capitol. We did not anticipate that occupying meant taking over the police and getting onto the stairs of the Capitol. What was that? We just heard a loud popping noise coming from the back steps of the Capitol. We do not see any smoke. We do not see any indication of where that might have come from. At this point, it seems like those protesters that are going to come up to the steps have already made their way here. There are probably a third of the protesters left behind the gates that are still watching.
So what does this tell us? That MAGA or Trump supporters will fight to the death for what they believe in. Now, I don't agree with the extent of their actions, but I don't have an issue with their right to protest. The main issue that I do have is law enforcement saying they weren't equipped or unprepared to deal with the situation. Now, to me, that's kind of suspect. Now, me as a black man, I kind of find it hard to believe, because I know if it was a Black Lives Matter movement, now I'm assuming, this is just my opinion on it, I believe if it was a Black Lives Matter movement, they would have shut it down at any thought of violence or anything of that nature, especially in front of Capitol Hill. Now, I will say this tells me how much power the words of President Donald Trump actually have. Now, true or false on Trump feeling he lost the election by hook or crook, if he feels that way, then guess what? His followers are definitely gonna feel that way and support him 100%. Because looking at the video clips, you're hearing him yelling out, you know, you're abandoning your country, this, that, and the third.
You're a fucking traitor! You come here, motherfucker! Join us! You're a fucking traitor to your country! Yeah! You're a fucking traitor! Fucking traitor!
They all feel like the man was robbed in the election. If Donald Trump tells them, hey, show up at Capitol Hill and protest and stand your ground, guess what? These people will. So that lets you know how powerful the man's words are. Which is why I really can't understand how law enforcement say they weren't prepared to handle the situation. They had plenty of time. You know, Trump said days ahead how he want protests to show up at Capitol Hill, stand their ground, and everything of that nature. So you know when Trump say, hey, show up and protest, with all his followers, they're going to show up and protest. And then to the point that, you know, they were able to break down blockades and actually get inside of Capitol Hill.
Oh, meanwhile, up on the steps of the backside of the Capitol, we're seeing protesters overcome the police. The police are now running back into the Capitol building. We have cheers from the protesters that are watching behind the scenes.
I just wish I had a crystal ball so I can see if the role was reversed and it was like Black Lives Matter who was protesting, would they have even gotten as far as to break the barricade, let alone get inside of Capitol Hill? Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not blind to it. I do understand there's a difference of police interaction or law enforcement interaction between whites and blacks. But for you to say you weren't equipped to handle this situation in front of Capitol Hill, where there's the most security there, it's kind of far-fetched for me to believe that. Now, like I said, I'm not condoning their actions, but this does tell me that they're willing to fight tooth and nails for what they believe. And they believe that the election was won unfairly by Democrats. So now this brings me to my next question. Will Trump actually leave the office peacefully? Because he still hasn't conceded that Joe Biden is the president or the president-elect. He still hasn't conceded that Joe Biden has won the election. So we gotta ask the question, will President Trump leave the office peacefully? They asked him and he never said that he would, which kind of made me cringe with the inauguration. If MAGA or Trump supporters show up there, I wonder how chaotic would it get then. Catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
Time for me to hold it down, time for me to break it down. Y'all cats don't wanna see me, y'all better mind your P's and Q's.